What is going on, Babylonians? It's me, Songs of Rays, and I'm here for another video for the channel for you. Now, today we're going to be covering the First Descendant, and this is going to be one of our first videos to be able to cover for this game, because we've got a lot of hype around it, and it's definitely got our eyes fixated on it as well. The fact that it is a free-to-play looter-shooter RPG, and it's going to be a games-as-a-service kind of live model, means that we're definitely going to be interested to see how this is going to work with the community. Is it going to capture as many people as we're expecting it to, and if so, how are they going to support it going forward? Is it going to get as much support as something like Destiny, for example? Now, before we get into it any further, to be able to talk about what we know about the characters and the playstyles, make sure you have dropped a like, or subscribe on the channel. It really does help the channel out, and it will also keep you up to date with any brand new videos we will be dropping for the First Descendant in the future. Fun fact, did you know that only 19% of you currently watching our videos are subscribed to our channel? So make sure you do hit that like and subscribe to be able to keep up to date with any videos that we will be dropping in the future. On top of that, we are also partnered with Player Ammo to be able to get your gaming supplement needs in terms of the forms of light powdered energy. Make sure you head yourself over there and use code BABBLE to be able to get yourself 10% off at the checkout. Now, with all that out of the way, let's get right into the video. Alright, so first and foremost, before we get into any, I will put out an apology right now, just in case I do butcher any of these names, but I'm going to try and pronounce them the best that I can, and if I find that it's any different, then I'll gladly drop an apology in the comment section. But first and foremost, we do have the soldier of Lepic. Now, Lepic is a former soldier, a jovial but reckless war fanatic who uses powerful guns built in his right arm, and his position is supposed to be the wide range dealer. The combat concept on this is supposed to be a way, and this is going to go forward for some of the other characters that we're going to be looking at as well, is to give you an idea as to what their general playstyle is, or how they kind of fit into DPS, or if they fit into support, etc. like that. And the combat concept for Lepic is uses hand grenades with various effects to defeat multiple enemies. Now, it's all to do to rotate around that robotic arm that Lepic has, and we have seen this in the trailer with the fact that it's a really cool animation of being able to open itself up and all that kind of good stuff. Now, from the sounds of this, you have your generic soldier class when it comes to some RPGs. We definitely saw it in the case of like Mass Effect, for example, where the soldier class was just pretty much there to be able to be the jack of all trades, to be able to take on pretty much any kind of threat that was in front of them and not have to worry about anything. But they didn't really specialize into anything outside of that. They were just there as your bog standard. This is your main class that you want to be able to pick if you don't want to be able to specialize into a certain kind of build. And I feel like Lepic might be filling that role, especially with the way that it's been worded. It sounds like we're going to have a lot of ordnance to be able to throw out in terms of different grenades, and we're going to have to be able to make that choice as to what grenades we do throw out. Maybe there's going to be some kind of like typing or status. So like maybe like an incendiary grenade is going to be super effective against a certain type of enemy, and maybe a shock grenade, etc. You know, I'm just making some of this stuff up just off the top of my head. We don't know the exact specifics when it comes to the grenade, but as an idea, similar to like how Borderlands had the typing, and you had to be able to match the typing to be able to do even more damage to it. Maybe that's what we're going to be seeing going forward when it comes to choosing what types of grenades we're going to be throwing. Now, next up, we did have Ajax. Now, Ajax we have seen already in the trailer, seems to be more along the lines of melee, a bit more along the lines of like armor to the teeth, and he's just there mainly as the tank role. So having a look at Ajax, his body is covered with armor and uses space warp technique that he has mastered when lost in the void. His position is going to be the bruiser, and the combat concept is create synergy based on high viability. Now, that is very kind of like vague in its description. It doesn't really give us too much in terms of what this class is going to be able to do. From the sounds of things, though, like my pure speculation when it comes to that is the fact that Ajax is going to be your front shield. He's going to be providing some buffs to the team. It's going to be a bit of kind of like a support class in that sense, and you're able to be able to tank a lot of damage to be able to make sure that none of your DPS characters that are behind you are going to be absorbing that kind of blow. It may be a case that we're able to see something in terms of like giving damage increases or maybe speed increases, something along those lines. That we have seen tank classes do that in the past with other games, so it's potential that this could be a support class in of itself, and that would probably explain why it is such a vague description. Next up, we have Viessa, who is a former criminal gang member with the skill of controlling cold air. Position of this is going to be debuffer, and the combat concept is specialized in limiting enemies' actions. So we have seen Viessa over in the trailer before now, where we're able to see her holding similar to like a ghost from like Destiny 2, and the room is starting to freeze all the way up. Now, it does sound like this is the freeze isn't going to be too offensive in its capabilities. It's going to be more of a kind of like a combo class where you're able to set enemies up to be able to have like weaker armor, or to be able to like hold them in place, so that some of the other classes can do them like their high amounts of DPS when it comes to some of their abilities. Now, I'll be very interested to see that Viessa is probably going to get a lot of pick rate, just purely down to the fact that we're able to get like a cold, kind of like a freeze mechanic in place, and if it does go along the lines of being able to reduce defenses as well as reduce speed of enemies, I can potentially see her having a very high pick rate as well. Next up we have Bunny, and Bunny doesn't get too much in terms of words, but is probably one of the better kind of like armor looking designs, especially seeing as the armor seems to fit that of the name. Now, Bunny is a girl with super fast legs attacking with electricity. The position is Nuker, and the combat concept is a character with skill configurations for strong damage. By the sounds of things, Bunny is going to be one of the main DPS classes when it comes to this game. In terms of like how it's going to work, we're not too sure. We haven't seen too much from Bunny in the trailers. We haven't got too much information on this card right now. But by the sounds of things, the fact that they're going to have a position of a nuker, it's going to be a case that they're going to be able to deal a lot of damage in a wide area, and this will be able to help take down some mob enemies, more of like the trash elites, and maybe even a case of having some high single target damage. So Bunny is going to be one of the main DPS classes, and potentially, if that is going to be the case, if that is genuinely the kit that she is going to bring to the table, I can once again see that a lot of people are going to gravitate towards this, because a lot of people, when they do play these type of games, will gravitate towards DPS numbers. So therefore, I do think Bunny will probably get quite a lot of picking when it comes to that. Next up we have Jayber, and Jayber is a genius boy who controls the flow of electric currents and combats using 2 turrets. Their position is utility, and their combat concept is summons turrets with various effects such as attacking and recovering. Now, this is going to be a case of one of the first supports that have been confirmed, because Jayber already has got like their kit detailed out there for us to be able to let us know what they can do. So Jayber isn't going to be able to do too much in terms of attacking themselves, but what they can do is be able to be more of a summoner kind of class, where they can summon different turrets to be able to do all the damage for us, and it's a case of up to the user as to which turrets to be able to bring out, and which ones are more specialized for the role that we need them to be able to do. The fact that we do also have different turrets for attacking as well as recovery means that potentially we're going to see 2 different builds come out there, or maybe we're able to run both at the same time. I like what Jayber is bringing to the table, the fact that you can go maybe more DPS and you can go a bit more support, and it's up to the player to be able to decide which one they want to be able to do. So I like what Jayber is saying when it comes to this sheet. Next up we have Gley, and Gley is probably the most interesting one in terms of trying to speculate what their kit will be able to do, and that's because Gley is using the enemies and even her own HP as an energy source. Her attacks are fierce but deadly. The position is close range dealer, and their combat concept is she earns life balls for self-heal when taking down enemies and enters berserk mode, which makes her more powerful. The reason why I'm so interested is the fact that Gley is able to take some of her own HP as an energy source to be able to increase the amount of damage that her attacks are going to be doing. Now, it's going to be a way to be able to manage resources in that sense, is you don't want to weaken yourself too much to be able to take it down, to be able to then try and attack and be able to gain some of that back through the use of some life balls to be able to get yourself some self-heal to be able to trigger it once again. But I'm kind of curious as to when it says using the enemy's own HP as an energy source, does that mean that she has an ability to be able to sap it away from them before they turn into energy balls, or is it just purely referring back to the energy balls in that sense? The Gley is going to have a very high risk, high reward kind of playstyle by the sounds of things, and I do hope they get that balance right, because if you're taking away a lot of your own health to be able to deal even more damage, it definitely needs a high reward to be able to justify that and be able to put yourself so close to the red. Now, the last sheet that we did get was 3 currently being worked on characters, and it gives us a small idea as to what their builds and what they're going to be bringing to the table is. Now, the first one is a poison type continuous dealer, which we have already seen in the trailer as well. So we already had an idea that a poison type character was going to be being on the release of the First Descendant. So that one's definitely going to be more of your damage over time by the sounds of things. We also have an assassin concept melee dealer as well, which I can see a lot of people would also gravitate towards, similar to if you've played Outriders with ourselves, kind of like the Trickster. It sounds like they're going to be able to teleport behind things, potentially having a lot of movement based abilities in that sense. And then lastly, we also have a fire controller concept continuous dealer, which is another damage over time build by the sounds of things, but instead of going for poison, we're able to go for fire, which once again kind of leads me back to the idea of, are we going to see different typings? Are we going to see different elements in this game? And it's going to pay to be able to have someone that is fire, someone that's poison, someone that's electric, etc, etc, or is it just purely for visual effects? Now, the last line on this card also is really interesting, because while we do have these 9 characters already there, it does also mention that in addition to these, we are creating new characters with various concepts, appearances, and skills. So they're not just stopping at the 9 classes or the 9 characters just yet. They're definitely going to be bringing rolling out more as time goes on. I wouldn't be too surprised if we're going to see more than 9 classes on launch, or maybe we're only going to see these 9, or maybe just the 6 that we've got confirmation as to how their playstyles kind of interact with each other. So we're only going to see those 6 in the beta while they still work on these 3 that they've just kind of teased for us. We're going to know a lot more about it when the beta does roll around. Now, lastly, just touching on the beta, we do make sure that if you are a PC player, head yourself over to the Steam page to be able to get yourself to be able to sign in to have a chance of being able to play on the beta. Currently, the date did get moved back, and it is now currently sitting on October 20th, 2022. So make sure you do get yourself in before then to be able to have a chance to be able to play this before it goes live. And there we are, that is everything that we currently know when it comes to the First Descendant, in terms of the characters, in terms of the playstyles that will be coming out. Let me know in the comment section down below which character has taken your fancy, which one are you going to be looking to be able to start with before we go ahead. Me, personally, I'm looking at an Ajax, but I might be tempted by Bunny, but I know a few people already that are planning to go with Bunny, so I'm pretty confident I'm going to go with my Ajax here, just first and foremost. And that brings us to the end of the video. Massive thank you to everyone that's just made it this way. If you did enjoy the content, make sure you have dropped a like and subscribe, ready for more the First Descendant content that's going to be coming your way. Massive thank you to the Babylonian family, as always, for their continued support, and their names appear at the end of every single one of our videos. And to be in with a chance to be able to get yourself and your name appear at the end of every single one of our videos, all you need to do is click that join button that's found right next to the subscribe button. And I guess that just leaves me to say, keep yourself safe, keep yourselves well, and I'll see you all on their next video.